Hello, welcome to Misfit Mondays. Sorry we started a little bit late, guys. A bit of technical difficulties. This is the sort of thing that happens when you're doing an online video blog that is live and streaming to you right now. This is Misfit Mondays. You're watching the 23rd episode of Misfit Mondays. It's 23, right?
I think so, something like that.
Yeah, 23 episodes, and basically this is the show where we talk about, all sorts of different things that are going on in the world, whether it's entertainment, politics, just controversies, whatever we choose to talk about, we put our own spin on it. This is the show for the Misfits, and we love answering your questions at the end of the show. My name's Cliff Skeletor, I'm the host, and I'm joined with my boy, Yas Talat of Dead Celebrity Status. We do this show every single week, every Monday at 8 o'clock, but we are missing one member of the crew. That's our boy, Bobby McIntosh.
Yeah, he was just here for those tuning in. Bobby was just on with us, and then we had some technical issues. He started glitching, and he's disappeared into the Matrix at the moment. So he's trying to get on. Hopefully he'll come and join us, but we were already 20 minutes late to start, so Cliff and I had to...
He's down the rabbit hole, so hopefully he's going to be able to make his way back to us. So with that being said, outside of the fact that there's been a disturbance in the force...
There has. Look at that. Nice. I like what you just did there. We're off to a good start.
I was excited about that. Let's get started really quickly. Just talk about what's going on with DCS. Let's get some quick DCS updates, Yes?
Yeah, today's going to be kind of a special Star Wars type of episode, but for those that are watching this online and have no idea who Cliff and I are and who Bobby stuck in the Matrix is, we're in a band called Dead Celebrity Status. We're recording artists and we make music, and every Monday, like Cliff said, we do this online chat blog type, no, not blog, what is this, a podcast type of thing.
Yeah, it's a video blog. It's a podcast, I don't know, yeah, sure.
So that's who we are. So in the world of Dead Celebrity Status, Bobby and I are throwing an 80s party coming up in Sudbury. We have an album out in stores right now called The Throwaway Kids. You can get it on iTunes, HMV, Best Buy, Future Shop, any of the major stores. Also visit us at deadcelebritystatus.com. We got all the merch, all the gear. Check out what's going on. Check the videos on YouTube. That's what's up. That's us. We're here to talk.
We're here to talk about things, have a spin on it from our perspective, but we also want to hear your perspective as well. The really cool thing about this show is we're actually in different locations. A lot of people don't know that. Yas and Bobby are two different locations in the greater city of Toronto, and I'm over here in the greater city of Sudbury, Northern Ontario. And we're kind of just, this is how we do the show. So for you Sudburyans, I'm actually having kind of a block party next Saturday, this Saturday coming up, actually. It's going to be on Cedar Street in front of the 705. Our good buddy Joe Nichols owns the store, has some wicked gear in there, reasonable prices. We're also going to have UFC fighter Mitch Gagno there signing shirts, signing autographs. It's going to be really cool, but, in regards to what Yas was saying, he was talking about the fact that he is having we're all actually having an 80s party together. We're going to be selling tickets, right? The tickets are what, $10 a ticket?
Yeah, $10 a ticket. You're going to come out. Basically, we're going to put you in a DeLorean and take you back to the future with us.
I like that. And so, show up this Saturday if you want to buy your tickets. I mean, you can get them anyways at the Trevi, but come out to the party. There are going to be tickets available there, and you can kind of have some fun. There's going to be some models there. There's going to be a few barbecue. Grab yourself a hamburger, a hot dog, a pop, whatever.
Daniel's going to be there, a UFC fighter.
Yeah, how awesome is that?
How often you get to kick it with a UFC fighter? So go. It's super cool that he's going to go and kick it with the people and just be there. And yeah, it's exciting. 7:05. Shout out to Joe.
Yeah, so make sure you show up. So let's get into our deadlines. So deadlines is, again, this is the portion of Misfit Mondays where we kind of take a look at what's going on around the world, and we talk about it. And the big thing was last week they announced the new cast of Star Wars. That's pretty exciting news, yes.
It was mind-blowing. We've been talking about Star Wars for a while. Once Disney ended up buying Lucasfilms, and right away, Kathleen Kennedy, and said, we are making the next 3 films. Not only that, but we're making spin-offs. Our heads have been spinning since that day because, I don't know about you, Cliff, but for me, I've been under the idea that I would never see another Star Wars feature film for the rest of my life.
Me too. That's what And that's what makes it so amazing, right? We kind of grew up on that, and a lot of people, you didn't even have to be born at the time those movies were made specifically. You could have been born in the 90s, and you still probably grew up watching Star Wars films. That's how powerful and that's how important these films are within this entertainment culture.
It's been such an important part in my life in general. I think a lot of people will say that artistically, creatively, imagination-wise. Like I grew up with Star Wars, and I don't mean I grew up watching Star Wars. I mean I grew up with Star Wars, like as with like another sibling, right? I grew up with Star Wars. Like it's a part of us.
Yeah, and I'll tell everybody right now, my IQ level, my Star Wars IQ level is very minimal, right? I mean, I grew up with it. I have nostalgic memories, and that's the kind of stuff that I can speak on behalf of. But I can tell you for sure, when it comes to Star Wars IQ, yes, really, I really don't know where he finds the time, honestly. So I'm impressed by it. But he's not kidding when he tells you it means a lot to him.
Being an isolated loner for most of my life. Actually, I was never isolated, but I was just that kid. And while everyone was out partying and drinking and doing things, I went home and read comic books and you know, got into the whole Star Wars universe and things of that nature. So this is exciting, brother. So I think the first good news we got after this, we got news is that J.J. Abrams was doing it. And I think that blew us away, and we were super stoked because we're both J.J. Abrams fans, and I think we both have put our trust in J.J.
Well, he's done so much good for us. It's kind of hard not to. And for those of you that are like, hey, who's J.J. Abrams? You know, this is just a name. A lot of you may know who he is, but to be more specific about who he is, he's a producer, a writer, and a director, right? He's known for so many different things. He did the 2 most recent Star Trek movies. Star Trek Into Darkness and the first re-release or redo or remake of Star Trek. He's known for creating Lost, writing Lost. He did Mission Impossible 3.
Alias. He created Alias. He created Felicity. He's got a real great perspective of female lead characters, which I think is really important. He understands emotion. He understands female characters, making them strong. Which I think is missing in cinema and in television. I think a lot of times when they put a lead, female lead, just by making her strong or tough, that's their idea. He really understands it, and if you watch Alias, it'll really blow you away. But he's just, and Cliff and I talk about this, he's about the mystery, the magic within the box. The magic.
Okay, hold on, there's our boy Bobby. We got Bobby.
And just like that, we talk magic, and here comes Bobby popping out of the Matrix.
Look at him, he's right down there in the mystery box, right, Yas?
That Bobby, that's the mystery box right there. Welcome, brother.
And just so you know, if we're wondering, do yourself a favor, and hopefully Kyle will post this. Go look up J.J. Abrams' TED Talk mystery box.
Yeah.
You're doing yourself a huge favor. 15 minutes of very interesting and entertaining, you know, knowledge.
So this is perfect segue now that Bobby's joining us, because basically we haven't really said much. We've been trying to hold off till you got here. But basically, it leads us to this. So the mystery box, J.J. Abrams is very secretive. In the last Star Trek, he didn't even let people know that Khan was Benedict Cumberbatch until they went to the movie. Like he's all about the mystery box. So one of the mysteries is who's going to be casted in this film. And we finally got the first glimpse into the mystery basket. And maybe, Cliff, you can post that first official picture.
There it is right there.
Nice. Look at Harrison Ford just chilling.
I love it. I love it. I love how engaged JJ is. So just so you're wondering, right in the middle, guy with the glasses sitting on the chair, the chair facing us, talking to Harrison Ford right beside him. They look so engaged, right? Well, JJ does.
Yeah, and he's engaged with the right guy too. He's engaged with Harrison Ford.
Yeah. Talking to the vet, the wily vet.
The man.
The
and
veteran.
if you look at the 2 people that look the most focused, one is Luke Skywalker, who's on the other side of J.J. Abrams. He looks like he's focused on his script. And the other is Chewbacca. Chewbacca's the only guy who's like staring at that script with his glasses on, completely focused.
Amazing, because he doesn't say shit.
Right? But he does shit. So
he does shit.
A lot of physical stuff. I like how engaged Carrie Fisher looks, eh?
Yeah, she's talking to the new girl Daisy. We'll talk a little bit about her, but a lot of the speculation is that she will be playing one of the offspring of Han Solo and Princess Leia, which is why she's sitting directly in between her future mother and father. So It's very cool to. I wish I was there, just to, you know what I mean, just to see what was going on there.
I love their decision to actually release this this picture in black and white as well. I wonder if that was a conscious decision on their behalf.
Well, I don't know if you guys did this, but when I first saw the headlines and I clicked on the picture, I looked at the picture, then I started trying to find the real picture. I thought this was like a 70s picture of the old cast. I actually didn't realize for like a quick second in my frantic panicking, like, oh my God, we got to Star Wars, where is it, where is it? But it was this, like, look, this looks like a picture from the 70s to me.
Well, and I feel as though they did that on purpose. They're really going to try to play upon our nostalgic, motivation, right?
I saw like someone post online, like one of those mimes or whatever. Someone like the whole Dirty Dancing. No one puts baby in a corner. Someone had put this picture up, and it said, "No one puts R2-D2 in a box and in a corner."
Nice.
Little R2, he's just stuck in the box there.
Oh,
He's just in the corner. Who puts R2 in the corner?
Why does he have to be in the box?
Yeah.
What's in the box?
Where's C-3PO?
He is right next. I believe he's next to. No, that he's not next to Chewie. I don't see him.
Who's Mark talking to?
Mark Hamill?
Yeah.
Nobody. Mark's just staring at his script, I think, on his lap.
Okay, wait. Where?
Oh, C-3PO's the bald guy sitting. He's got his back to us.
Gotcha.
Okay, where is? Oh, Mark's the one. Oh, okay, that's his back to us. Who's he talking to?
It looks like he's talking to. Or no, I think that's I don't know, to be honest.
I think that's Hamill that's facing us.
Yeah, Hamill's facing us for sure. He's sitting next to J.J. Abrams.
That's not Mark Hamill. Dude, Mark Hamill's closer to us with the plaid shirt. Bottom right. He doesn't have a script in his lap. He's talking to a guy that has a script in his lap.
I don't know.
Look.
You sure?
Bottom right. That's Mark Hamill. I wish I could point at it with my mouse right now.
Yeah, it kind of looks like him.
Yeah, I think you're right.
He's talking to a guy with the script in his lap. I'm wondering who that is.
I think that's, what's his name? Vaughn.
Oh, that's right. That is Vaughn.
Vaughn Sydow.
Cool. So should we actually get into that? That's actually.
Let's go through these characters real quick.
That's a good segue to get into the characters. So let's talk about let me get the names. I got to remember the names because these aren't like obviously they didn't choose like really huge name celebrities. But let's talk with this fella, John Boyega. So John Boyega, he'll mostly be known for the movie Attack of the Block. Again, if you haven't seen Attack of the Block, I highly recommend it. Bobby, have you seen it?
No.
Dude.
This is actually the first time I've actually seen this dude.
Buddy, I cannot recommend highly enough. Watch Attack of the Block, man. You are going to be so thankful, right? Yas?
It's like they're like those ghetto, British gangster kids, ones that always say blood and bruv all the time. What up, bruv? A lot of innits.
Yeah.
He's just badass. I really like. A lot of people are speculating he might play a young Jedi in a training. I hope he plays a bad guy, a Sith, because his character, that badass, cocky prick that a bad guy would exude, is perfect for him. But regardless, he's a great actor, and I'm excited for him a lot.
He's got the look, and he proved in that movie alone. I mean, we don't have a lot to go on with him, but if you watch Attack of the Block and you watch the character development in it, the arc, and that's what I always enjoy watching in a movie, when you see a character develop from one thing that you perceive them as to something completely different. Well, he was so good at doing that, right? That's why I'm really...
I just saved you, bruv, in it!
So yeah, Bobby, highly recommend that, buddy.
Alrighty.
Watch that one.
I'll check it.
Yeah. All right, so next up we have a female actress by the name of Daisy Ridley. So there's Daisy Ridley right there. So I don't know a whole lot about Daisy Ridley, right?
Nothing. I got nothing for you.
Yeah, she's done some TV work. She's from what I understand, she's been on some British TV shows called Mr. Selfridge and Silent Witness.
Yeah, she's unknown, I think, to the whole world. She just kind of came out of left field, which is exciting.
She kind of looks though like the offspring of Solo and Leia.
You nailed it.
And yeah, she kind of looks like that.
Yeah, and
So,
I think Bobby had said it to me when the first time we talked, because I knew a lot of these characters, but they weren't like household names. But Bobby said, I don't know a lot of these people, and I like that. Um, and I agree. Like not
yeah,
knowing some of
exactly.
these people or seeing what they're truly full of, what they're capable of, is exciting.
Yeah, I
Especially
completely.
for like a Star Wars film, right? Like I remember, like as a kid, I didn't even know who Han Solo was.
No,
I
nobody.
didn't know any of all those guys, and I loved it. I love that fact, and I like the fact that they're choosing no-name people, not no-name, but not big mainstream actors, because I know none of them. So.
And
But you're right. She totally looks like their offspring completely.
yeah, so hopefully, I mean,
Yeah.
again, it goes back to that thing we said about J.J. Abrams. If J.J. Abrams is casting them, they're strong. They're going to be strong actors, right? We're not going to see what we saw in the prequels, right?
Yeah, that was,
See, I mean, that's basically what happened, right? I'm just going to come back to me for a second, if y'all don't mind. But that's what we saw, right? In the first set of movies, you saw no-name actors but do incredible acting, and then he came out with the 3 prequels, and he picked incredible actors, i.e. Liam Neeson, and he made sure that they didn't act at all.
yeah, Natalie Portman, like a lot of people that were really good actors. But yeah, no, J.J. Abrams is going back. Just that photo alone being that 70s styles photo, he's making the film like the old school ones. Like he's bringing it back for us. So
Very, very excited so far. So next up, we got this fella named Adam Driver. So Adam Driver, I mean, again, another guy that hasn't done a whole lot of work. I mean, he's been in the HBO series Girls and some small indie films, right? So, again, not a lot of work on him.
So Adam Driver is kind of like the hot thing right now in Hollywood, where like a lot of people want him for their projects based on the HBO show Girls. I don't watch Girls. I tried watching it. My boy Marky Fairchild, who produced our album, him and his girlfriend were watching it, so I started watching it. I watched a couple episodes. Couldn't get into it. Just wasn't for me. But he is amazing in it. He was the only character that when he was on screen, I was laughing, I was enjoying it, and he was an interesting character. But looking at his face, doesn't he have that weird look that...
The first thing I thought when I found this picture, you sent it over to me, Yas. I'm like, this guy looks like they don't even have to do really much makeup on him. He looks like a Star Wars character.
Totally. You don't know if he's good, if he's bad. He's got that Sith look to him. He's kind of cocky. He's got that I think he's a great actor. He's a great commodity, and he's not a household name, so no one has that perspective of what they expect from him. So
yeah, well, there's a lot of rumors flying around that he's playing a Darth Vader-like villain.
Yeah, we'll see. If he's a Sith, he'll be cool. Bobby, he's got that look, right? When you first saw him, there's something about him.
Yeah, he does. But to me, it looks like he could go both ways. He can go the dark side, or to the good side, like even a Jedi.
Totally.
He
Or even like
cool.
like another Han Solo type character, right? An anti-hero type character.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about that. Moving on to the next one. Here's a guy that's a little bit more well-known, and a guy that I'm very excited about being in the movie, Oscar Isaac. So this is a guy that's been getting a ton of buzz, man. He's kind of sounding like he's the next kind of, big thing that people are very excited about, right? And, I mean, he's been in a lot of stuff. He played, have you seen Drive, Bobby?
No.
Oh, you got to see Drive, man. Also, another excellent movie. He plays the husband. He's in Robin Hood. He's in
the latest movie he just got nominated for an Oscar for. Bobby, you downloaded it to watch.
What is it?
The folk singer, the New York folk singer.
You know what though? I haven't gotten around to watching that.
What's that one called?
Inside Llewyn Davis.
Inside Llewyn Davis. That's it. He's the guy.
Inside Llewyn Davis, I think. Something
yeah,
like
that's
that?
it.
That's it. Yeah, and I mean, very talented guy. He's also.
Oh,
yeah, that's the one. Inside Llewyn Davis. Very talented guy. He's also in a movie that I don't know if you guys have heard of this. Have you ever heard of the movie 10 Years?
Yes.
Yeah, I found it online. I have no idea. It never went to the theaters.
That's the reunion one, right?
That's the reunion one, and it's really good. And he's in that movie. He actually sings in that movie. And it's actually a really, really good movie. But this guy, super talented.
Of all the characters so far, he's the only one I'm not sold on, to be honest. I gotta be honest.
He's the one I'm the most excited about.
Yeah, it's something about Llewyn Davis when Bobby was talking about watching it, and I'm not really curious about that movie, to be honest. And it's the character that he portrays. Something about him. just kind of, I just not excited about. I know he's an incredible actor and people love that movie and he got nominated for an Oscar, but I just don't see him. I see him fitting the role of the Llewyn Davis, kind of like, you know, Jewish Brooklyn, poor folk singer, aspiring artist, right? He kind of reminds me of Rabbi from Sony Music, Bobby, like that type of a character from the Philosopher Kings. I just don't see him in the Star Wars world.
Yeah, but have you seen his other work?
Yeah, of course. I've seen Drive, and the same thing. Like something. I trust J.J. Abrams, so I'm not going to say too much. He's the only one I'm kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah. See, we're on two different sides of the fence. Definitely, he's the one I'm the most excited about.
But he's a talent. He's a talent. So
that's it. Yeah. He's a talent, and he's got a cool look to him, man. I think that they can do some really cool stuff. Hopefully, they play him right.
See, in JJ we trust.
So next up, you're gonna know who this is, Bobby. I'm excited. I'm excited for you to know who one of these guys is. This one you're gonna know, man by the name of Andy Serkis. So a man not necessarily known by the way he looks, but definitely known for the voices and the
Motion capture.
Yeah, the physicality. I mean, this guy's known for more popularly known as playing Gollum.
As well as Caesar, the monkey you see right there in the new Planet of the Apes.
King Kong.
They're bringing him to help with the Hulk for the new Avengers. This guy right here is the king of motion capture, not CGI. Like a guy that gets in there and does the most incredible emotional motion capture. He basically brings characters to life.
Bobby's done. He's like, no, forget this. I'm out.
But this is the guy that I was really excited about because what this told me is that, like, the way the prequels, George Lucas's prequels were going, they're very CGI heavy, very character CGI heavy. Like, a lot of those characters weren't models; they were just pure CGI. Whereas bringing in an Andy Serkis basically is telling me that they're really going to create a character.
And it also shows that they understand
yes.
that there's a lot behind the physicality and the motion, the movement that actually
portrays. Soul. He brings the soul into a character. When you watch Caesar just isn't CGI. Caesar is an actual living creature. Like, his soul is there. That's what Andy does, which tells me that they're really thinking about this script, their characters, their cast, and that they want all aspects to be an emotional rush for people. So I am beyond excited for Andy Serkis. I think this is he's a genius and a master, and he is the best in the world at what he does. And something like this, whether he's another creature, it's going to be mind-blowing. He is phenomenal. So I'm very excited about Andy.
Very excited about this fella. And next up, we got a fella by the name of, we can't really see his face too much because I didn't measure down the picture, but we got kind of an idea. His name is Domhnall Gleeson. So again, another fella is known as, he played Weasley in Harry Potter. He's played a couple of other things. He had his own role, actually, his own movie, a leading role. And you know what? Off the top of my head, I cannot remember what it is.
You know what he's really good in? That's actually quite recent.
What?
The movie Dredd. If anyone's seen the remake of Dredd.
Oh, that's right. He looks so different because his eyes are really messed up in Dredd.
The hacker that's in the building, right? He plays that kind of weird with the eyes, and he's creepy and amazing. Like, he's really good in that movie. And I remember watching him going, this guy should have got a bigger role. Like, he's fucking good. And again, he's got that weird look, and his the attributes and his characteristics can be really off the wall, which is perfect for the Star Wars world. Again, it's not perfect structured cookie cutters. Very eclectic and unusual, which I think will be perfect for him.
Yeah, that's actually the movie I was trying to think of too. He was the lead role in a movie called About Time.
Yeah, I seen About Time. About Time was okay. I didn't really love that. He's good in it again. I think he's a good actor. I think he's like a young up-and-comer. He's a stud.
Yeah, loving it.
And gingers have souls. No matter what the internet tells you, gingers have souls.
Exactly. As if they would even question that.
Right? He laughs in the background.
After Rick Astley. And so here's another guy, more experienced acting veteran, and Max von Sydow. So, I mean, he's been in so many things. You got to keep in mind, this guy was the priest in The Exorcist.
That's Father Merrin, right there. You're looking at Father Merrin.
It's unbelievable, right? He was in David Lynch's Dune. Now, a movie that you need to see. Remember Dune? Yes, did you watch it? Did you never watch Dune?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah, unbelievable. Amazing movie. I mean, he was in Conan the Barbarian.
Even recently, he was in Minority Report, and he was really good and creepy.
Minority Report.
And recently, Shutter Island. I didn't love that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, but he plays the doctor in the asylum, and he is just riveting. Like, an unbelievable talent. He reminds me a lot of when they casted the actor who played Obi-Wan Kenobi in the original trilogy. He was kind of like the best actor out of all that cast, right? Like, he had a history. He was known as a real actor. That's what Max von Sydow is, and I'm actually really excited to see him on the big screen and see what he brings to Star Wars, because he has to be a Sith Lord. Like, he has to be a villain. Like, he just...
Oh, my God. They wouldn't be using him properly if he's not a villain.
Yeah, he is bad. And if they don't, he will be an awesome form of kind of like an Obi-Wan Kenobi type of mentor. He's the whole package. So whichever way they go with him, it will be brilliant.
Honestly, the way I've always looked at it, man, it takes a good actor to play a good guy. It takes a great actor to play a villain.
Absolutely. I'm with you 100%.
Well, I'm glad you're with me, man. That makes me feel really good about everything. Really sad that we lost Bobby, though. I'm not going to lie.
Back in the Matrix. He'll pop back on.
Back in the rabbit hole. Come back, and that mystery box is keeping us guessing. So, can you believe we're already at 8:47?
Yeah, well, we started like 25 minutes late, so.
Yeah, we did start a little bit late with the show, but we do have a couple more things we want to talk about in regards to Star Wars, because we're just really excited to talk about Star Wars. I mean, we've got a cast there that, you know what, there's nobody in there where I'm just like, what the fuck are they thinking, right? I'm pretty satisfied with what they've picked.
And you know, again, I think this isn't even close to the final cast, obviously, but I do think J.J. Abrams and his whole concept of the mystery box and not letting us know what's in, I really truly believe he has casted somebody that will blow our minds, and he hasn't released yet. Like, an example is, I truly believe either Benedict Cumberbatch or Gary Oldman will be in Star Wars. I really believe one of them is going to make it.
Yeah,
You know, JJ, he won't let anybody know until you see them on the screen. I really believe it.
Well, you got to imagine after working with a guy like Benedict, they worked together in the Star Trek film, that he'd want to continue working with a guy of that level, right? I mean, this is a guy that, I mean, obviously, if you've seen any of his movies, he's magnetic. I mean, he's just a huge, powerful actor that just commands your attention. But you also hear and read a lot of rumors that he's just excellent to work with. So. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, so we'll see. If neither one of I picture Gary Oldman in Star Wars. Like, are you kidding? Have you seen Gary Oldman's commercials? Those new commercials he has.
The one about acting and basketball. You're a basketball player. Play basketball. I'm an actor.
Yeah.
Dude, if you can find that now,
Gary's the king. Or the other one where he's just going blah 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 blah, like just so badass.
I just noticed I've been on this screen for a long time. I wasn't switching over to you. It's like people are like forced to just stare at my face for the past like
a little mini ass at the bottom. So I do believe we're far from done with the casting, and I do think there is a major actor sitting in the balance. And if there isn't, and I'm wrong, so be it. In J.J. Abrams, we trust. So whatever he does, I'll be happy. But still, Gary Oldman or Benedict Cumberbatch, blow my brains, please.
So I have a couple of questions I want to ask you, though. You know, especially you being like the Star Wars connoisseur. Like, who, like, in the Star Wars universe, who was your favorite character that was never a main character?
Oh, okay, so just because Bobby's not here, I'm going to explain in 2 sentences Star Wars expanded universe and canon. A lot of the times when we talk about canon are when you'll be hearing it a lot now. Canon is what George Lucas considered the actual Star Wars story. So it's his first 3 movies, the new prequels, and recently they've added the Clone Wars. So anything that's happening in that storyline, that timeline, is considered canon, which means that's the main hub. Since the original Star Wars films came out, hundreds of books and comics and video games have transpired by a number of different writers and artists. That wasn't considered canon, that's expanded universe. So in this entire expanded universe, we were very excited to see who is going to make the cut and where they are. So just recently, Lucasfilms has basically said canon is the 6 films that are made, and they've included Clone Wars, which is cool because if anyone that watches Clone Wars, they know that Darth Maul is alive and he's actually made an appearance on the Clone Wars. So you never know when Darth Maul may show up. But in the Star Wars universe, my favorite character, and I'm really hoping they add this to the new trilogy at some point, is General Thrawn. And if anyone has read Here to the Empire, the General Thrawn trilogy, he's probably the coolest villain that Star Wars has had since Darth Vader. And so I would love to see Thrawn show up in Star Wars, and especially seeing someone like Benedict Cumberbatch play Thrawn. You know, this blue, red-eyed genius. You know, that's what he is. He's this genius, manipulative, inquisitive mastermind, which would be perfect for a character like that. Another character that I really love is Yamiya, who's a Sith Lord, a female Sith Lord. How badass would it be to see a female Sith Lord in these new films?
Oh, it'd be awesome. It would be absolutely incredible.
Maybe, Kyle, if you could put up a picture of Lumia, it's spelled Lumiyya, Lumia. She has a lightsaber whip, so it's like a light whip.
Oh, that's wicked.
Dude, and she wears kind of like a, like my sister wears a hijab, but really cool. She kind of like scarf thing on her head like a ninja. She is bananas. Like to see her play the next great villain, if it's not General Thrawn, it would be incredible. I don't know if I answered your question. What was your question?
Your favorite character that was not a main character.
So I didn't answer your question. These are just characters I like from I guess the expanded universe and hoping becomes canon. My favorite character that's not a main character is Boba Fett. People know Darth Maul is my favorite character, if not Darth Vader. It's one of the 2 Darths. But after those guys, it's Boba Fett.
I love how you say that. The people know.
The people.
That on your sleeve, man. People know, man.
Boba Fett's badass. Like, do you remember Boba Fett character when you were a kid, Cliff?
Of course. Well, you know what? To be completely honest with you, you kind of took my answer. But
what is your answer?
I'm going to come up with a different answer.
Okay.
But Boba Fett, he was the coolest. He was in the movie for what, a total of 5 minutes, and he completely stole the entire franchise. Everyone was excited about. I'm surprised they didn't. If that was nowadays, they would have. There would have been a spin-off TV series, movies, books. I mean, he was just exciting because he just seemed so badass and straight to the point.
Well, think of you're talking about the late 70s, early 80s. You had he was basically a bounty hunter with the coolest outfit in the world, a jetpack. He worked for the most evil people and just got the job done. Like, Boba Fett was bananas.
I think ultimately we have this, we find hitmen intriguing, right? Like, they live this very reclusive, isolated, disciplined lifestyle that we see as so far removed from what it is that we exist, or how we exist. They're intriguing to us, right?
Absolutely. And Boba Fett is one of them. Another character I really think is cool is another villain, is Grand Moff Tarkin. He's the general on the Death Star. He's got that creepy face, really like thin bone structure. Tarkin was just badass. He was Darth Vader's right-hand man, and kind of never took shit from Darth Vader. Not that he talked back to him, but like he was just scary, dude.
I mean, my other one was like not for scariness factor, just for like I appreciated his comedy style, was R2-D2. That dude, he's like the most sarcastic little fucker, just awesome, smart, always right, and had to deal with the most bumbling idiot of all time.
Always, yeah. He had like the idiot brother that slept in the basement, constantly around him.
The one thing I can say about C-3PO is that's where I learned a lot of my dance moves, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people learned them from C-3PO.
Right on. So moving on, I got one more question, then I want to move on to Smash or Trash. I want to pick one. I got a few questions here. Yeah, we kind of talked about that already. Yeah, was there anything ever in the movies, period, in that canon that you speak of, that you can never wrap your mind around?
Yeah, I'm gonna go old and new. So for the new prequels that they made, one is that George Lucas decided to kill off Darth Maul in the first episode. Greatest tragedy in filmmaking history. And if I ever met George Lucas, I'd be tempted to slap him for that. But more importantly, I have something that's bothered me all through growing up. I never understood was after New Hope, Episode 4, so like the original Star Wars for us. When they're at the end of the movie, when they're at the bravery ceremony in
I know exactly what you're going for. I know
what?
I know where you're going with
Princess Leia gives the award, a medallion, the Medal of Bravery, to Han and Luke. They're not Chewie.
Poor Chewbacca's just standing there like, what?
What a bunch of racist bastards, the Rebel Alliance.
Do you think that? I mean, that guy, I mean, if you don't think Chewbacca played a major role, you're crazy, man.
How could they do... And you know what? Like, as an adult, I have a bunch of theories, but as a kid, it bothered me. I just didn't understand. I used to ask my brother all the time, but why didn't they give Chewbacca a medal? Why didn't Chewie get a medal? I don't get it.
What's your I'm curious what your adult theories are, because I know the way your brain works.
Yeah.
I'm so curious what kind of...
It's a form of, prejudice and racism within that Rebel Alliance. Like, they're such goody two-shoes. Like, they wanted the good white knight. They couldn't deal with the big, hairy, brown Wookiee. Like, let the Wookiee win, fuck. Give the Wookiee a medal. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Poor Chewie, man. And you know what's crazy? We were talking about expanded universe. Many years later, I think it was a UK comic version of Star Wars, created a comic where Chewie gets a medal. And they explained it in that, saying that Princess Leia was too short to reach Chewie and blah, 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 blah. But that's not canon. Official of last week. So that doesn't exist. So Chewie, to this day,
still does not have... Don't you remember at the MTV Awards they gave him a medal?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. I mean, why doesn't Chewie have a medal? But and George Lucas is such an idiot. He went into the trilogy, like the Blu-rays, and he made a bunch of changes that piss me off, like the whole Han and Greedo thing and things that don't matter. But because he made those changes, they're canon now. So whether we like them or dislike them or have a different opinion, they've become canon because they're in the Blu-rays. Why didn't he just put a fucking CGI medal on Chewie after 30 years, and then Chewie would have a medal and it would be part of canon and we can all accept that? Biggest mistake. I just don't get it. Poor Chewie.
Yeah, that's
I'm emotional about that.
What's that?
I'm very emotional about that.
No, I could definitely tell. I thought that this was going to kind of turn into a therapy session. Unfortunately, I'm not set up for that at the moment. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna move past it.
You want to see what I have, Cliff? Just a little bit of show and tell.
I'd love to see this.
So I've got the original, the Blu-ray, which I kind of think is a travesty, and I don't recommend anyone purchasing it. I purchased it a while ago in my stupidness, just because I was such a Star Wars fan. But again, George Lucas has made so many changes and altered, sound, dialogue, actual characters and scenes, bullshit. But check this out, Cliff. Do you know what I actually have? I have the original Star Wars on VHS.
Woo!
Look, I mean, like, I have actual video cassettes.
Wow, that's
look at that. This is those that are part of this whole new social media world, and don't know what a VHS cassette is. This is it.
Stop watching the show right now. Honest to God, tune out of this show and go.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is how we watched our Star Wars.
That's it. That's it.
We watched it like this. Not only that, but we didn't even have this. We had like a bootleg version of a bootleg version of a bootleg version on an old VHS cassette, and that's how we watched Star Wars. So I'm very happy, but I still have it.
You want to know what else? When you want to watch a movie now, you kind of stick it in, you hit play, and you're watching the movie. Well, with us, we'd get the movie from the video store. Here, say something.
Hello, hello, hello. So here's the original VHS cassette of the original trilogy, the only trilogy that matters in the world.
Exactly. We would rent a movie. We would go home with the movie, but the person that rented the movie before us never rewound the movie. So we couldn't just press play. We'd have to hit rewind. And the first few VCRs, it took like 15 minutes to rewind. Remember they came out with the super rewinding ones?
Yeah. Also, a video store started charging you $2 if you didn't rewind your movie.
It was hard times, guys.
Look at this, my movie's not rewound, so you know I finished watching it. New Hope has not been rewound. $2 charge, yes.
Absolutely awesome. So we're going to move on to the portion of the show that I repetitively say is my favorite portion of the show, but that's slowly changing. I think that everything's starting to even out, and, you know, I love all my children the same way, but there's always a special place in my heart for Smash or Trash because I love smashing and I love trashing. And this is where me and Kyle, mostly Kyle, we come up with a list of 8 different random things. And Yas and Bobby, when Bobby is here, tell us whether it's a smash or a trash, and they tell us why. This time, not so random, because we're kind of doing this Star Wars thing. And I don't know if we even explained why we're doing the Star Wars thing. Did we explain that yesterday was Star Wars Day, May the 4th? You may have been online and you may have had every second person on your every second person's Facebook status saying "May the 4th be with you." Very excited to say that. A lot of people. We had a person actually make a joke, which I thought was pretty funny. Maybe one of your friends, Yas. Her name is Corlinga De Silva M, and she said today is Revenge of the 5th. Yes, I went there.
That's banana. Corey said that.
Yeah.
Corey, that's my homegirl. She's actually going to be my little nephew Ilyas's basketball coach. She's a wicked baller and good friend of mine. That is bananas that she wrote that. That is sick.
I like that. It's clever. It's different. It's
young lady.
Let's get into our first Smash or Trash. And I mean, I have a funny feeling I know what most of the answers to these are going to be. It's hard to find things that, you know, are kind of in the middle with Star Wars. You either love or hate things, right? So the first one is Smash or Trash on Jar Jar Binks.
Beast mode, Falcon Punch, lightsaber, trash. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, realistically.
I don't ghetto there. It's all I got to say. I don't even talk
all
like
I
that.
got to say.
That's all I know, actually. No, I think, yeah, he's one of the worst things to ever happen to the Star Wars expanded universe, canon, whatever.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And I'm hoping, well, he has to. There's no way J.J. Abrams includes any of that. Even their people, the Gunhams or whatever they're called, in Naboo and underwater, like, fuck all that.
Well, I truly believe that J.J. Abrams isn't an arrogant moron that would pander to the lowest common denominator. No offense, George Lucas, not implying...
Yeah.
Basically, just arrogant, right?
Lucas was going for a cash crop with Jar Jar Binks. He was looking for something new for the kids to sell at McDonald's and toy stores. Thought it would be the perfect... So many racial issues with him as well. The dumb Caribbean.
The character was completely racist.
Yeah, completely. So anyway, let's move on from Jar Jar Binks.
And now we're going to go the other way because we already know what your answer to this is. Smash or trash on Darth Maul?
The greatest smash I could possibly give a smash or trash. He is my favorite Sith Lord ever. And that's even like there's Darth Bane, who's pretty fucking badass. You know, there's a number of really cool Sith.
Without getting into the other ones, though, can you tell us why Darth Maul stands out to you?
Just you could get into the expanded universe and read more about his story, but just his physique, his style, his look. He has that presence when he's got the hood and his face is tattooed and he's got the horns. There's just something, the physicality. It's like this. I always say, you know, if I could have one character back me up in a street fight, superhero, whatever it is. Like, I always play this game. If I had one MMA fighter, who would it be? All these things. And I'm always like, what fictional character would I want behind me in a street fight? And it always comes down to two. One is the Incredible Hulk. Like, how could you not want the Hulk to stand behind you? And the other is Darth Maul. If you just look at Darth Maul's face, and then also he's an extreme martial arts master. He has a double lightsaber. Look at that face. Like, that's just, he doesn't have to say anything. There's just madness in that face. And and he's so disciplined and skilled. He's never too impatient. He is the ultimate Sith Lord, and George Lucas destroyed it by having him die in the first episode. But he actually doesn't die because he comes back in Clone Wars, so he is part of canon. So Darth Maul.
And I completely agree. I remember when, just seeing him in the movie, I was so excited about him. And this guy, who was the character that he played in the X-Men movie, where they also killed him off? The character he played in the first X-Men movie was awesome. Who?
Frog. He played Frog. Toad. He played Toad.
Toad. Remember how awesome that character was?
Yeah, his name's Ray. Ray, whatever. He also plays one of the ninjas in the G.I. Joe films, Snake Eye. Maybe one of them. Yeah, he's a great martial artist too.
Yeah.
But Darth Maul is bananas.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. So moving on to the next one, Smash or Trash. We knew the answer to that, and he was I completely agree with you. He was a great character. I'd like to see him and Boba Fett go at it.
Well, they've also talked about doing spin-offs, right? We're not just getting the next 3 Star Wars movies. In between years, we're going to get spin-offs on just a character. There's possibility it might be a Darth Maul movie. It might be a Boba Fett movie, a young Han Solo movie. We don't know. So fingers crossed if fans continue to support Darth Maul, we might get that movie.
All right, moving on to the next one. Smash or Trash on the Princess Leia, Luke kiss.
So weird. I'm gonna give it a smash just for such lunacy and weirdness. Yeah, it's strange. Like, it's really strange.
Yeah, it's absolutely bizarre. And for those of you that don't kind of fully realize the strangeness, it's because, the two characters are twins. They're brother and sister. That being said, at the time of the kiss, they don't know it. But still, the filmmakers knew it and the writing knew it. And it's a curious choice, right?
I honestly feel that when they wrote it, it wasn't written so much like that. I think it's one of those things that kind of changed and morphed, and then they made them brother and sister when they weren't originally. Because no one really knows when that script, like, no one has like the official first treatment George Lucas made. And George Lucas is kind of whimsical, even though he's done some great things and he's given us some great things, but he has a reputation of going back and changing things. He constantly alters things, like the Han Greedo situation. So I could see him initially not having the brother-sister, then thinking, oh, wait, the storyline could be so much more, but then the whole love interest thing just kind of, because it's weird why you would write that in there, but I'll take it. I'll take it.
Just because it's so weird, I appreciate that it's in there as well. So I'm going to completely agree with that. All right, moving on to the next one, Smash or Trash, the movie, The Ewok Adventure from 1984.
Sick! That used to come on TV, dude.
I used to watch that as a kid, man. The Ewoks.
Sick! Oh, it was so good because it was just a whole hour and a half of Ewoks, little cute buggers. That little Wicket and his gang.
Bone arrows, just little tiny bone arrows.
Oh, Kyle, if you could find this commercial for me, have you seen the Spike TV commercial for Star Wars? They had like a Star Wars marathon on Spike TV, and so they had these Star Wars commercials, and one is these guys on a golf course, and they see a little Ewok. They're like, oh, and they throw like a golf ball for him to fetch. They're like, go fetch! And then the little Ewok just looks up at them, pulls out his slingshot, and just hits them in the face. The funniest shit in the world. You have to find that. There's actually like 3 of them.
Do you know that like 30 years after the fact, like Ewoks get so much hate?
Yeah, Ewoks were awesome. I love the Ewoks. I think there was a little too much. I think Return of the Jedi has some issues as a whole as a film. And that's where George Lucas was really going towards candy-covered storylines. Still a great movie. But yeah, I love the Ewoks. Ewoks are great. And I'd love to see, honestly, a new Ewok movie, like in this generation, the way like Lord of the Rings is and stuff, like a really good script, powerful director, and do an adventure fantasy Ewoks movie.
That would be incredible, yeah.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Get Andy Serkin in there to
I was going to say, he has to be in.
Circus.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. we know the answer to this one, but I still want to hear it. Smash or trash on the prequels trilogy.
Trash, abomination. Outside of, again, Darth Maul, yeah, trash. You know, I watch them. I can watch them. I thought Phantom Menace title was a wicked title. When I never saw the movie,
That's a great one.
Phantom Menace, I was like, oh my god, this is going to be bananas. But as a movie, it's the worst one possible. Clone Wars, trying too hard. It just lost its character and its feeling and emotion. The third one is the best of the prequel, Revenge of the Sith, outside of Darth Vader screaming, no! Like, why is he doing that? Because his wife's dead. He's a Sith. Like, he has no more emotion. Like, he's detached at that point. Are you that stupid? Frustrates me.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the smallest piece of 1,000 things that are wrong with those movies.
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
absolutely.
I choose not to watch them. I don't watch them. I don't care. I wish they weren't made, to be honest.
They're enraging.
But I think J.J. Abrams is going to correct that, and that's why we were talking at the beginning of the show. I didn't think we were ever going to get another Star Wars movie again because of the lunacy that is spewed in these prequels. Yeah, so we're very lucky. We get to see proper Star Wars films again.
And you know, the right person gets their hands on something, anything can be fixed. And I mean, to give you a prime example, if you all remember Batman and Robin, you know, if you remember those movies and how bad that movie was and the one prior to it, and then what Chris Nolan was able to come out with and how he was able to write the ship.
Yeah, and even keep it even more in perspective of my Misfits, Project Wise, the old band that Bobby and I were in, and we've told the story before, but when we shot the video for Room to Breathe, maybe you guys can even throw that video up there, Kyle. The Room to Breathe video, we went and shot it. Cost like almost $100,000 to shoot that video. It was a very expensive video. And when we got the video back, it was a disaster. And I remember Bobby, myself, and my brother, who was our manager, complained to Denise Donlin, the president of Sony Music, saying, we can't release this video. We have to throw it out. We need to go back and shoot another video. We didn't understand the way it worked. We thought we needed to blow all this money again. And she's like, okay, hold on. I agree, it's not good. Let's give it to another editor and see if they can do something. And in our minds, we're like, it's impossible. Like, this is a train wreck. And we gave it to another editor, not even another director. He took the footage that was shot, recut that movie, and we have this masterpiece, Room to Breathe, which we all ended up loving and jaw-dropping good when we saw it. And that's what Cliff's saying, a director, an editor, a cinematographer. Anybody can take something and make it brilliant or make it a disaster, right?
Yeah, and obviously I'm a little bit biased because I am a videographer. I am an editor, and I take a lot of pride in my editing. You know, I think that, you know, editing is one of the most underappreciated things in the film industry, right? I mean, the editor, man, there's so much pacing, so much stuff that you get to do within it. That's why, for me, it's the funnest part.
Yeah, editing can make or break a film or video. A cinematography can make or break anything.
Yeah.
And a director can make or break it. It's like you have these three intangibles, and you need quality in all three of those. And you can have a great director, great cinematographer. If you have a terrible editor, it all just falls apart. So,
well, because the machine won't do. It's like having to use a cliche analogy, a race car driver, right? The driver is the director, but if the car itself doesn't do what the driver's telling it to do, it's not going to be a success.
Yeah, agreed. So I'm with you. Taking those and I think that was one of the major problems with the prequels. It was George Lucas. You know, he took it on himself to write them and direct them, and they were a disaster. Take that out of his hands and give it to someone who's brilliant, like a J.J. Abrams. I think we're on to something very special.
Kyle was very excited about me asking you this particular Smash and Trash. Smash and Trash on Family Guy's Star Wars episode.
Yeah, they're good. I'm not the biggest Family Guy fan, to be honest. I got into it like when it first came out, and then I started having issues with it, and then a lot of socio-political, a lot of hidden agenda type shit that's kind of taken me away from watching Family Guy. But when those came out, I watched them, and I thought they did an amazing job with them. With little Stewie with the big giant helmet, reminding me of Spaceballs. Oh, Spaceballs!
Oh!
Oh! I don't even know if that's on the list, but if we're going to talk about a kind of a recreation or a
parody.
Yeah, a parody. The greatest of all time is Spaceballs. Wow, that just came out of nowhere.
That was exciting. Your reaction even made it even more exciting.
Yeah, because Stewie, right? Stewie has like the big Darth Vader helmet on, right? And then it reminded me of Rick Morales, I guess. Has this giant,
Rick Moranis.
Yeah,
Honey,
yeah.
I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Yeah, so I'll give the Family Guy rendition of Star Wars a smash because I think they did a good job with them.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with it. I think it was really funny. And you know what? 7 months ago, if we were having this conversation, yes, I would have been all up in arms, being like, Family Guy is incredible, and I would have tried to convince you of it. And I don't like the show anymore, and it doesn't make sense. I used to love the show. I think these things have a shelf life for me. I don't know. I think it's because I really, in the past 6-7 months, I really grew a gigantic appreciation for Futurama.
You're saying that.
I love the show. I just have a huge appreciation, and now I watch, and I just don't find anything compares to it. I can't watch anything else cartoon-wise.
Yeah, I made 2 friends on this cruise that I was on. One is Katie's, one of her best friend's brother, and his best friend, Mark and Adam. And really cool cats, really like same headspace as me and you in terms of like the films and shows and everything we watch. And so we had a great time just talking about stuff. And one of the things they were really adamant about that they loved is Futurama. And I never got into Futurama, so I didn't have a lot to say. But these are really 2 smart kids that have the same taste and sensibility as me, and they're really, really big on Futurama.
I would really like for you to watch it from top to tail, right? I mean, you're only looking at 7 seasons, right? And honest to God, it's just really good, and you're a very smart guy, and it's not just like on the surface. It's not just fart jokes, right? Obviously, the fart jokes cover up, the deeper meaning behind a lot of the stuff that they're talking about. And I love it. I think it's brilliant. I would love to get your take on it.
I'm not opposed to it. I think it's one of those shows in the future. But like other shows like South Park and Family Guy, I actually despise. I don't like them. I think they're a hindrance on society, and I think they cause a lot of damage. And I think there's a lot of manipulation and subliminal messages that are an agenda. There's an agenda with those shows. I don't think there is one with Futurama. Not that I've heard or learned from other people. It might be something I might get into and try and watch because it sounds like it's a smarter type of a show, as opposed to what you're saying, those value type shows.
Exactly. It's a lot of tongue-in-cheek humor too, right? And I don't get the impression that there's any sort of agenda because they kind of play all sides of the fence, and they're, it's in the future too, so it's kind of like making jokes. I mean, you got to keep in mind the president of the world in Futurama is, Dick Nixon, right? So that's interesting in itself and kind of funny. And they play a lot of jokes with that. So anyways, moving on to the final Smash or Trash. No, this is actually the second.
Wait, and we also gave Spaceballs a smash, right?
Oh yeah, big time ball smash. I mean,
Kyle, add that to the Smash or Trash list. Spaceballs.
We've talked about it a couple times. You want to know what would be a fun thing to do at the show? And whoever's watching right now, send us a comment on this if you think that this is interesting. I really want to, like we did. Remember, we watched the fight online. Yes, I'd love to watch a movie online with us commentating in the background and kind of talking with the people, also watching with us.
That would be amazing.
One giant movie date.
I'm in, and check it out. Look at my screen right now.
Awesome.
Look at that, Spaceballs on DVD.
Legend, John King.
Go wrong with Spaceballs.
Just a genius of a man right there.
Comb the desert. Sick.
All right. Awesome. All right, so moving on to the next Smash or Trash, the animated series Clone Wars.
Clone Wars?
Yeah.
Yeah, Clone Wars is good. I was excited when it first came out, and then it faded for me. I thought it was a little kid-friendly, and I wanted something a little more adult-like. But as that show has progressed, it's actually gotten a lot more serious and intense, I guess. And it's now part of canon. So those that don't know about Clone Wars, it takes place after Episode 3 and before Episode 4. So the first movie, the old trilogy, and the last movie, the new trilogy, there's that gap, and that's where Clone Wars takes place. So the timeline fits. So if you haven't watched it and you're into the Star Wars movies, Clone Wars would be good to watch to know what happens with, Obi-Wan and a lot of these other storylines. Again, Darth Maul does make a return. Darth Maul's brother, the yellow Darth Maul looking guy, shows up. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And also, they just released a trailer yesterday for Star Wars Day, Star Wars Rebels, the new animated series, which is going to be canon as well and be part of the Star Wars timeline. So I'm excited about Rebels to come out.
All right, brother. Final one. Actually, you know what? I'm going to throw in a bonus one after this. But right now, I want to know what you thought in the prequel trilogy, Yoda's much anticipated fight scene.
He was awesome. Yoda was awesome. It was exciting to watch Yoda fight because in the original trilogy, the old ones, Yoda, is kind of a withered old, master at that point. He doesn't walk very much. He's very slow, and ultimately, he passes. So we never really got to see that master Jedi. And one of the cool things I think we got out of the prequels, and a lot of people have a lot of problems with it, is we got to see Yoda be badass. Badass he be, as he would say. So badass I be. So yeah, I enjoyed watching Yoda do something, but again, it was CGI nuts, right? Like, I can't get into it. Anyway, it was fun to watch Yoda kick some ass.
Yeah, I think ultimately it comes down to George Lucas thinking he understands where technology is going, right? And I don't agree with where he got a few things right. He got a few things as far as digital video. He was really on the forefront of that.
Yeah, and Lucas has always been... Star Wars have always given us something groundbreaking, but I think when he went into those prequels, that's what he was gunning for, doing something groundbreaking and just pushing the envelope, and then pushing it way too far where it's no longer cool, right? Subtlety, like J.J. Abrams, going back to him, there will be CGI in this film, right? There was CGI in Wolf of Wall Street. Like, you can't make a movie today without CGI. There will be CGI.
But it's supposed to be used sparingly. It's the dressings.
Yes, he's using motion capture. They brought in the motion capture Michael Jordan of the world and Andy Serkis, as well as they're actually building models and props. That's something they really didn't do in the new prequels. They're building in Tatooine. They're in Morocco shooting already, and they rebuilt entire cities, structures in Morocco, in the desert of Tatooine, which is originally filmed in Tunisia, the neighbor of Morocco. So J.J. Abrams is going to be able to mesh all of these things. Another thing J.J. Abrams is doing, Cliff, and tell me what you think about this as a filmmaker yourself, is he's not shooting digitally. He's shooting this entire film on film. He refuses to use digital.
That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible, and I think it's very interesting, and I'm so curious what George Lucas's reaction to that is, because he was so adamant about pushing everything towards digital. It's just like that was one of the big battles George Lucas had, and it's just like, I don't know, does it kind of, I don't think it shows a failure on George Lucas's part. Like, if he feels like what he was pushing was a failure, because I think digital has exploded and it's doing and has done what it needs to do. It's really cool that he decided to do it on film. My opinion is, that it's just a choice. It's a filmmaker's choice. I really don't think the audience actually sees that big of a difference. I think that it's only something that really high-end filmmakers could kind of nitpick between.
Yeah, I think it will make a difference in this film. I think a lot of it has to do with kind of like the picture you showed at the beginning where it looks like an old 70s picture. I think of that authenticity of that era. I think that's what he wants to include. And capturing something on film is going to be a little more grainy, you know what I mean? It's not going to be so crisp and clean like the prequels. And that was the problem with the prequels. They were just so clean, so shiny.
Well, that's kind of my complaint, and I think we've talked about this quite a few times with HD video.
Yes, absolutely.
I hate HD. I think it's the worst thing ever. It's great for sports, because sports isn't about anything other than trying to see the action and the play. When it comes to film, it's about setting moods. It's darkness. It's graininess. It's filters. It's certain types of lighting. This whole thing about 3D and then HD, they are absolute gimmicks, in my opinion.
I'm with you 100%. I'm with you. So I'm really happy to see Jay James trying to bring that. Whether it makes a minute difference, it's very similar in music. Again, my misfits out there can relate. Listening to something on vinyl or listening to something on CD, listening to digital and listening to analog. You're always going to get a warmth with analog. You're always going to get a warmth in a record as opposed to listening to a CD or something that's digital. That's what you're going to get in film. Same, they're very subtle qualities that will add something. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's all right. Again, I'm not as excited about that as you are. You know, I have a little bit of a different opinion, but I think that there is something. You know, I do agree with the thing of listening to a record, right? I think that there's a bigger gap between a record and a CD than there is between digital video and film analog video at this point in the game, right? That's what I believe, and you know what? It's up for debate. This is why you see, I mean, the best directors in Hollywood are debating this, the best cinematographers. So is there a clear, for sure answer? No, I don't think it is. I think it's a matter of opinion, right?
Matter of opinion, and I think it's the perfect world for Star Wars. Try to keep it as classic as possible, and with a sense of the new, right? You need it to move forward, and I think that's what J.J. Abrams is going to do. So
I think we can just talk about this all night long, and this show would last forever. But I'm still going to throw in this bonus question because I'm so curious on what your opinion is, because I know you go to a lot of these different shows, right? I'm so curious what your opinion is on cosplay.
On cosplay?
Yeah.
Is that a smash or trash, or is that just a question?
That's a smash or trash, yes. Honest opinion. I know you want to be honest here, but you want to be nice about it for the people. I don't think you like it.
I honestly, I don't.
Okay.
Okay, I think, the women are beautiful. I think a lot of the costumes are imaginative and awesome. They're great. But I also think that it's become something that's, again, we're selling culture, right? Whereas back in the day, when someone dressed up as Princess Leia or a character for Halloween, and it was cool, and it was sexy and revealing, and there was something to it. There was a creative imagination. Now it's just like they're just there's elements of it I like. I know friends of mine who are part of it and are actual models within it and do a lot of the circuits.
Did you say circus?
Again, I think people enjoy. What's that?
Did you say you think people what?
I don't know what I said.
Okay. No, I was just joking about the fact that it sounded like.
Am I freezing up on you?
No. No, I think that it's because I was making a joke on the fact that I thought you said circus. Yeah. Yeah.
I think I did unintentionally. But I think it's taking. I hate the idea of taking my culture, geek culture, and making it like this new, cool, popular thing. Sorry, am I cutting in? Are you cutting out? I'm not sure. Are we glitching, Cliff?
Just a tad, nothing major. Don't focus on it too much.
So yeah, I think it's being oversaturated right now. It's constantly what we see. It's the new cool for people that actually don't understand it or are part of it. So yeah. Yeah,
I'm gonna give it a big smash.
Explain.
And really, because I'm not as attached to it as you are, and I know this means a lot to you. I know it does. And it means something to me. Don't get me wrong, but there's just still part of my, my guy pervy side. I'm just gonna be honest. There's some sexy costumes out there, and I think it's hot.
And I think you're right. I won't disagree with that. I think you're right. There are some that show up, and they're awesome.
I'm just a simple man with a simple dream.
Maybe. Yeah, and it's cool. I guess it's cool to see kind of that world finally be recognized as beautiful. The whole comic book world, the sci-fi world. It's a new taste on that. I guess my idea is the fact that now it's being sold, right? It's being mass manufactured and shoved down our throats to everybody, and it's like.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of somebody going out and buying a cosplay costume. I like the idea that I imagine this really a physically attractive woman inside her house just fucking with glue and tape and chalk for some reason. I don't know why she has chalk involved.
Sounds like you're going. Chalk. Why does she have chalk? You got Katie laughing in the back. Why does she have chalk?
You know, I feel good about life every time I hear Katie laugh in the background. That's it, man. I almost want to just end the show right now. Just X this box out and go sit in the living room and watch.
There it is. Costanza's left the building on a high note.
Yeah, I would say so. So let's move into the portion of the show where you guys watching the show get to ask some questions. And we got a lot of questions today, and let me tell you why. Because people love asking questions. Let me tell you the second reason why. Because we're actually starting this new thing where we want to give away things on the show, right? Because it's fun. It's fun to give stuff away. People like getting things. And what we're doing is that we're actually giving away a 682, which is Yas and Bobby's record label, amazing record label. They've donated a bottle of wine, a delicious, robust, flavorful bottle of red wine. Do you like how I
love that word, robust?
I love that word. Any chance I get to say it, I'm saying it.
Love it.
So if you actually go to the Facebook page, www.facebook.com/DC Status, you can go on there. You can see this beautiful bottle of red. It looks great. I've never tasted it, but judging by looks, it just looks like a good time, man. So we're giving this away to the best question. So me and Yas are gonna have to decide. Katie, I think Katie should get a vote in this. Since she paying attention over there, Yas?
She's kind of doing some work. Let me propose something to you, Cliff. This is live and this is raw and uncut. So I'm gonna propose something to you, and you can decide. I told you you're gonna be the gatekeeper. A lot of these questions are really fun to do with Bobby. They're fun to have both of us answer them and stuff, and I like doing that with Bobby, and I guess he's lost in the matrix right now, and I kind of feel like he's missing out, because like you're right, we got some really awesome questions this week. So I was going to propose, instead of getting into those, maybe we do just a couple, 2 or 3 more Star Wars questions. I know you had a couple more Star Wars questions. We could end it on the whole Star Wars theme and save these questions for next week when Bobby can fully join us, or we can continue, follow through like you said, and just jump right into it. This is on you. I just give you the option.
Oh, man, that's pressure.
I'm happy with either way, so.
I got to make an executive decision here. The show's been going for a while, so we do have...
it's already at an hour, so I was thinking, if we only had like 2 or 3 more Star Wars questions, which I think we do, we can just kind of end it on a Star Wars note.
But these are really good questions, and these people, I told them that we're going to answer them tonight. That's my only issue.
Huh. So the onus is on you. I'm putting it all on you.
Shit. Okay.
Well, how many of these are we actually going to be able to get through properly?
What's that?
How many do you think we'll actually be able to get through?
If we go really fast at answering these questions, dude, we can do it in 10 fucking minutes. We just have to answer them quickly. Let's do it. Let's answer the question.
You want to do that over Star Wars questions? You want to leave Bobby out?
What's that? I'm sorry we lost Bobby. It's very, I feel bad about it. But the thing is, we said we're going to give away a bottle of wine tonight. Some people are excited about it. Let's get through the questions really quickly. We're going to have great questions for next week, too.
Bobby, I tried, buddy. I tried to keep you in there.
I'm the bad guy. I'm willing
where the loyalty lies, sir. and to be selfish, I got Bobby's back, number 1, and then number 2, I just want to talk more Star Wars. Like, you got me into Star Wars.
I knew you did. I knew that this was part of it, but I'm the voice of the people, I think.
Yeah, you're being the responsible one.
Yeah, so I gotta be. So let's kind of try to hammer through these questions as quickly as humanly possible, all right? So let's get into it right away. Matt Dennison, I'm actually going to ask the questions faster.
All right, let's go.
Okay, Matt Dennison asks, is there a chance Transatlantic Poisoner, Misfits, Strangers, Liars, Friends will ever be released, or maybe remixes of more songs like Erica? Yes or no?
Unknown. Right now, Sony Music owns that catalog, and we really have no say in being able to use any of that without a major issue. So there might be a possibility of me and Bobby remixing it completely. We've talked about it, doing something for Nothing's What It Seems, our own complete new take, as well as possibly performing something live, which might be a possibility. But in terms of those being re-released or something, not anytime soon.
Great answer. Absolutely love it. Marshall Cochran asks, you guys were in Windsor and dropped mad freestyle skills. Any chance of a DCS cipher?
Absolutely. You never know. Bobby and I are freestyle machines, not Corey Sharon type machines, but we've been freestyling our entire lives. That's what we did growing up. You were there, Cliff. We'd sit in a park and in a playground with our friends, make a circle, and just rap, right? Just freestyle. That's what we did. So that's part of our history and our roots. Yeah, you never know when we might do a cipher and release it or do something, but we love incorporating freestyles live. It's fun for us. It's something cool, and it's something our Misfits don't get to see every day. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoyed Windsor. We love being there. We look forward to coming back.
It's surprising like how much of that is actually stuck with me. Yes, from like all those freestyle sessions earlier. Like me and Kyle go for rides around all the time, like with different friends. And Kyle has this CD of just beats, and he throws it on, and he just looks over at me, and it's just like I know right away what he wants me to do. He just
and you do it? You freestyle?
I do it. I just freestyle all the time. I'll freestyle for blocks and blocks. And we just talk about different things. It's going. Yas hasn't heard me freestyle since childhood, so he has no idea, man.
You just got Katie. You just gave Katie the biggest smile. No laughing out loud. She just looked like a proud mom at that moment.
Oh, I love it.
Just cruising with Kyle freestyling.
Yeah, that's what I do, man. I freestyle. The thing is, my freestyles like aren't like necessarily something that they're not PG-13. They're usually like it's scary. I think that if somebody were to study my freestyles, they'd say, okay, that guy has deep psychological problems.
That got the Katie laugh.
Yeah, because you don't have time to think, so you're just kind of saying what's in your brain, right? It's just kind of twisting together. So you have to kind of really let go and just say whatever. Some weird shit comes out. All right.
And I will say this. I do want to. Bobby is a monster.
Oh, he is. Yeah.
Like being my right hand man my whole life. He's a monster at everything. But he's a freestyle machine. He can go on for hours. Like honestly, like Bobby is bananas. So
it's
I don't give him enough respect for his freestyling because we just don't talk about it enough. But it's been mentioned. So
he's one of the. Yeah, I remember from child. I wish he had honed those skills even more because it would be so cool to see him in one of those competitions. He's just a little bit more private about it, though, right?
No, well, me and Bobby and myself would do really well in a freestyle battle. Like anyone that wants to battle us at the end of a show or outside, which has happened a number of times in our lives. We excel at that. But the whole new written format, that's like you asking me to fight someone in a bar and then asking me to go in a cage and fight Mitch Gagnon,
Yeah.
That's a whole different world. So
different story altogether. All right, we got to keep this moving along. Justine Giles asks, our friend Justine Giles says, why wine when there's wine? Anyways, Justine. All right, what inspiring person would you guys like to wine and dine and chat with? One person. So
someone that's inspiring?
But they drink wine.
Okay, one of the people, I guess, just someone I would always love to meet and sit down and be able to have a latte. I'll go latte because I don't drink wine. I believe he probably would drink wine because he is that type, I think. Is actually a guy by the name of Slavoj Zizek. Slavoj Zizek. If maybe Kyle, if you could pull him up, his last name is spelled Z-I-Z-E-K.
Hey, remember this is the speed round. Yes, hate to move you along, but this is the speed round.
So Slavoj Zizek is he's a Slovenian Marxist philosopher and a cultural critic. He's just brilliant. He's probably the most brilliant mind today. I know a lot of people like a lot of other philosophers, or people like I'm drawing a blank here, but
that's all right. Let people kind of find their own information. They have the name. We got to move on to the next one. Sorry.
He's got this movie, a book called The Pervert's Guide to Cinema.
Okay, I'm sold. Check that out. All right, I'm looking him up. Next question is by Steven Schmidt. If you could go back in time and save one person's life, who would it be?
1964 Harlem Ballroom, Malcolm X.
Awesome, love it. And if you've watched this show, you kind of have an idea of what Yas's opinion is on Malcolm X. We got to move on to the next one. Acid Blackstar Helgeson asks, what would your secret ninja technique be? We get these ninja questions quite a bit.
A lot of people. They want a lot of insight into my technique. Well, anyone that knows me growing up, I created my own martial arts called Yas Kundo. Bruce Lee is the creator of Jeet Kundo. So Yassine created his own, which is Yas Kundo. So basically my secret style would just be Yas Kundo, which nobody knows except for Yassine. So unless Yassine is teaching you, you don't know the secret style. That's my secret ninja style.
Beautiful. Love it. Melissa Cote asks, it's a good question actually, and this is one, I know, Yas, you're going to be so tempted to give a long answer on this one because it's a big question. Try your best to give us the cliff notes of your answer. So Melissa Cote asks, how would you go about teaching and educating children and teenagers on anti-bullying in schools and via social media? It's a huge issue at hand and has always been, always looking for innovative ways to teach my children. So I know it's tough to give this a short answer, but we have to try our best.
I really can't. Other than just keep doing what you're doing, that's a long question. Like you said, I need to think about that. But I think a lot of the issues we're having with bullying and whatnot is the perception kids are getting off of television, and a lot of the things they're learning off of Facebook and social bullying and whatnot. So it's just a matter of talking to them like anything else and everything else, and trying to read between the lines and seeing what's actually going on. But again, maybe, Cliff, you could pull this question up another day. We could spend some time and talk about it properly because it needs that proper assessment.
Yeah, I would give that, and I would also say very, very important theme with your who am I? Like, what do I know? But if I were to say anything, an important theme, I believe, with people or with your children is explaining to them that that when they're being bullied, it's nothing personal. So they shouldn't allow it to affect their confidence because it's about the other people, right? I kind of tell that to people that are always like, oh, this person said this to me and I felt shitty. Well, if you just put yourself in their boots and say it has nothing to do with you, it's about them, it allows you to be a little bit more understanding and not let it affect you as much. But, we could go on forever about this. Josh Pedro asks, what are your thoughts on racism? Oh, God. They really brought their A game, but these are tough ones to answer quickly. But we're going to try our best, man. We're always up for a challenge.
I expect to save it for next week.
Hey, we're going to...
Bobby here with me.
Josh Pedro asks, what are your thoughts on racism within the sports industry, i.e. Donald Sterling in the recent event at the Boston Habs game over Sudan? And what do you think can be done to curb racism from happening? Now, we talked about Donald Sterling last week, so go back, watch that episode, man. We really get into it, and that'll help you out a lot with your answer. Do you have kind of a quick answer that, I think ultimately it comes down to education, right, Yas?
I think more than education is accepting what's actually happening. We go on in this world thinking everything is just so good and we've come a long way and we've progressed. No, fuck that. We live in an extremely racist, culturally racist environment and world, and stop sugarcoating it and accept that this is a reality. That's the first thing. It's not about education.
Don't you think that kind of
what's actually happening? And once we accept that, then we can fight what's actually happening.
But doesn't that come down to education? I mean, you can't accept something you're not educated about.
No, because we educate. I don't know what you mean, but yeah, you're right. There's a lot of forms of education. So yes, you're right. Absolutely. I'm talking more the clinical form of schooling and education.
No, I'm talking about educating yourself as human beings, going out there and actually doing the research. That's been one of the main things.
Aware. That's it. It's about waking up and being aware. Acknowledge that Sterling isn't one case, or what the Boston fans are doing is one case. Accept and realize what's going on and educate yourself into the realities and the harshness of what the world we live in.
All right, Vijay Chawla asks, if there was a technological apocalypse like an EMP or something, essentially unplugging all of us from the internet, how would DCS survive, and why aren't you operating as if they were? Whoa, there's a big VJ. Come on, buddy.
My boy. I don't know that we could. If you're talking about, loss of power and whatnot, I think it would be more about survival. Isn't that what we would be heading towards? More of an electronical holocaust and thus a new form of survival?
Yeah, I would like to turn that question around on VJ. How would he suggest, because I feel as though he's talking as far as, the promotion and the marketing and the music getting out there.
I think I'd be more concerned about which well I'm going to get my water from. Who I need to protect my family from. I think music will become a secondary, maybe a third. It would be a lot of old school African style clapping and around a campfire. I think DCS would be more about a positive spirit around a campfire for the people.
Well, exactly, and I do like how VJ says, why aren't we operating as if they were? How do you know we don't already have plans in the making, VJ? Think about it.
Yeah, we try. Social media makes things very easy for us.
Yes, I was just kind of kidding around with that one, buddy.
No, I'm with you though, but I think one of the major things that Bobby and I do is we communicate with people on a daily basis, person to person. Like you come to a show, we talk to you. If we lose social media, what do we have? All we have left is people, right? If we lose electricity, are we able to communicate with people? Are we able to create an army that's going to have our backs and us have their backs? I think that's what's most important. I don't know if that's what your question is, but I think if that happens, we have a much bigger, serious issue to be dealing with.
Yes. Brian Cataman asks. Oh, Jesus. Brian was just responding to VJ saying, where are these grounds and what makes them so deadly?
Yeah, it's old school Project Wise reference.
Yeah, okay.
Ask Ty Thomas.
All right, Joseph Embert asks, I like this question. What does your family think of your music and lyrics? Do they support you? Do they motivate you?
No.
Did you say no?
Yep.
Are you serious right now?
Well, parts of my family, like my parents, music was never something they ever wanted me to get into, nor do they really want me in it to this day.
Really? That's it.
My parents are supportive of me. They've never really been supportive of my choice in music. That's another conversation for a longer day we can ask. But it's not like they disowned me. Almost, actually, at one point, a number of times. But no, the crazy Moroccans just not feeling music as a career. And it's been a constant battle that me and my brother have fought majority of our lives. So.
Look, Joseph, I'm not kidding you. You're a front runner, buddy. That's a great question. And you know what? I have, me and Yas have been friends forever, and I've never once, I don't know why, never once thought to ask that question. So I'm loving that question. Good question.
My brother, who's my manager, my best friend, has been the most supportive of my career in the world. So it depends on what we're talking about. My family can go either here or there. My sister's supportive, but yeah,
Katie, what'd you think of that question?
Did you like that question, Katie? Yeah, she loved it. She said in a very soft voice.
Awesome, I love it. Doug McDonald asks, when are you coming out west to Vancouver so I could share my bottle of wine with you, even though you don't drink wine, Yas?
I hope so. I hope soon.
Dawn the Lawn loves wine. Crystal Ann, you know I drink my vino out of the fishbowl. That's how I picture her saying it.
Crystal said that?
Crystal Ann said that, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like to drink wine in a hot tub every night, as long as I've ever known her.
Oh, beautiful. That's exciting. Josh Falcon Gillis. Oh, he really he covered his bases by asking two questions. First question, one is for Yas, so we're gonna ask that one. Yas, how much racism affected you in your life? It says in what ways, but again, we got to make these as short as possible. And what's your favorite artist of all time? I believe that's Prince for you, right? Yes.
Yeah. So the first question quickly is it's what molded me. Racism ultimately has made me part of who I am. This conscious thinking character that tries to look outside the box and read between the lines. Because growing up in a small hockey town, white collar, minor town, blue collar, I should say. White community, we were the token, we were the only Moroccan family in the city, very small minority of Muslims. And growing up, especially elementary school, is very difficult for my brother, very difficult for me, both with students as well as teachers, peers. I remember I used to get in trouble and sent in the corner, like where other kids wouldn't. I'd be sent in the corner for the rest of the day. The kid with the weird afro. So yeah, it shaped me. It's made me who I am, and I've been able to use those negatives as a positive and fight for my nephew now, and the future Talats of this world and everyone else out there, all my misfits. So yeah, that's a short answer. The second question, yeah, Prince. Prince is my favorite artist of all time. I'll give you who my favorite artist, like actual artist, not musician, but as an actual artist, would be two surrealist artists. Salvador Dali is my favorite artist of all time, and H.R. Geiger. If you've ever seen the movie Aliens, like the creatures that they're created in Prometheus, it's all H.R. Geiger's designs and stuff. So.
And Josh has another question. He threw in a third question. This guy. Josh Falcon Gillis asks, for the third and final question, what's your opinion on the way Canada is heading in general?
Disastrous. This goes hand in hand with the racism question. Wake up. Read between the lines. Things aren't, cupcakes and rainbows and unicorns right here in Canada. In fact, Canada's going on an incredible decline. Our social programs, our healthcare system, the economy, just everything. We're in very bad times and things are only getting worse. Our education system, wake up. Do something about it. What do I mean? Educate yourself. See what's going on and try to make a better country that we live in, because we do live in an amazing, beautiful country. We have all these resources and great people, but we're watching it turn into a shitty state within America.
All right, beautiful. That was the last of the questions now. Yes, what was your favorite question?
The Star Wars one.
Star Wars one.
I'm just joking. I want to start.
I was like, what? I'm like, I don't see that question.
I don't know. I like them all. They were all really great. I wish I could have spent more time. I wish Bobby could have been here to answer them. Yeah. Why don't we announce that later? Maybe we'll get you and Kyle to pick the one we love the most, because I can't really pick one.
Yeah, I've already picked one.
Okay. You like one that you like the most?
By a long shot. And don't get me wrong. I like the other questions. They're good questions. But this is just a question I've never thought to ask you. Joseph Embert, what does your family think of your music and lyrics? I think that's just such an important thing, that our parents are our family. It's part of what molds us, and it's just such an important and interesting question to ask. So, if it's up to me, Joseph Embert wins the bottle of wine.
That's cool. And maybe another day we can expand on that more. Like my whole life growing up, I used to hide playing shows. Right up until like Project Wise being signed by Sony, we'd play big shows, and I have to lie to my parents about going to play this major show in an arena because I didn't want them to know or bother them. So, but my parents are awesome. Like, it's not a bad thing. Like, they weren't like, so negative and harsh that it just wasn't for them. Wasn't for the crazy Moroccans.
Love it. Well, unless you disagree, I'd like to say officially, Joseph Embert, you have won the first prize we've ever given out on Misfit Mondays.
682 Records. Thank you, Trevor Lynn, for providing that. I saw the picture of the bottle. It looks fabulous and awesome. Super cool. I really appreciate that. Hope you enjoy the wine, sir. And we're going to try to get more prizes going on each week, Cliff. Is that what you were saying?
That every single week we're going to give away a different prize. So we're always going to do the same thing. Best question gets a prize. So within the next few days we'll announce what the next prize is going to be. So listen, you didn't win this week. Ask another question. Maybe you're going to like the prize next week even better. Don't give up. Never give up. Just keep asking questions.
There it is. And there's no losers. We love all these questions, especially the Star Wars ones. So continually ask Star Wars or comic book questions. No one asks those. I just keep asking for them.
Yeah, you want to. Okay, you know what? I'm going to ask you one more Star Wars question before we end the show. Are you cool with that?
I like that. Cliff, you in the bottle of wine, sir.
I want to make you happy, man. I want to make my boy ass happy. All right, so explain, because you mentioned it a few times on the show, and I'm sure some people maybe caught him. They're like, well, what's he talking about when he keeps talking about the Han Solo and Greedo situation? Number one, can you tell us what the situation is? And number two, or what the situation was? Number two, who shot first?
So Han shot first. Obviously, he shot first because Han is shoot first, ask questions later. That's why Han Solo is so badass. That's why Han Solo is the anti-hero. He does what he wants, how he wants, and he just gets shit done. So the situation is in Episode 4, so the original Star Wars. There's a situation where Han Solo is confronted by Greedo, and Greedo is this Rodian creature who has been hired by Jabba the Hutt to get money from Han Solo that's owed to Jabba. And while they're having this sit-down, this meeting, this conversation, Han Solo has his gun underneath his table, and he shoots him. He basically says, he starts a sentence, he's going to ask Greedo something, and then all of a sudden he just shoots Greedo, and then him and Chewie run off before they can get caught. That's how everyone knows Han Solo. That's one of the cool things that makes Han Solo so badass. He will just shoot you to get away, owing money. Like, that is a badass man. What George Lucas does 30 years later is in the digital remastering of the Blu-ray box set, this tragedy that I have on Blu-ray, is he actually went in and physically altered that scene. They created animation, they changed the dialogue, and they actually recreated in CGI a scene which has Greedo shooting Han Solo first and Han Solo like ducking out of the way, and thus Han Solo shooting Greedo back. So basically he only shot Greedo because he was being attacked. That's not the way of Han Solo. I don't care if you created the character, Mr. Lucas. 30 years, Han Solo has owned that moment. It's one of the most magical moments in Star Wars history, besides Luke Skywalker looking at the two moons and a number of great scenes. But Han shot first, and you don't get to go into art 30 years later.
Pussy out. That's essentially what he did. He came back 30 years later and he pussied out of the bold move that was made by whoever made that decision. And I guarantee you, I can't guarantee it, but I bet you he didn't make that decision. I bet you it was something he argued about at the time because he never got it.
It's something, absolutely, it's something he never got. And so for 30 years he's been hanging on to that. And so he changed it. So when people saw the new Blu-ray edition, which had a bunch of crazy shit in it, it was like the Han scene was altered. He actually changed. It would be like us going to the Mona Lisa, and actually changing her physicality, saying, I didn't want her to look, I wanted her to be more slender and sleek and more revealing down the top. That's how I wanted the Mona Lisa. Like, no, you created art. That's the art. After 30 years, you don't get to go back and re-alter it in the way you want. Yeah, so anyway.
Once you put it out there, it's ours now. It's yours until you give it to us.
And that's something about our lyrics I really love, is a lot of people ask me, what does this line mean? Why do you say this? And we have our own meaning as to why, and sometimes we explain it. But also art it's really exciting to hear the interpretation of the listener, of the viewer. I want you to take from our lyrics what you take out of it. Even though I may have a meaning behind what I'm saying, I really appreciate when people get their own meanings out of it and their own inspiration out of it. That's art. I don't hang on to my every word so fanatically that it has to only have one meaning. That's not what art is. That's not what poetry and literature and film is really about. It's about they give their vision, and then on top of that, people have the freedom to perceive it and interpret it in a way that they want, and that's a beautiful thing. Han shot first.
I love it, man. That's a great answer. Now, that's the end of the questions. But we got
a good name for a punk band, eh? Han shot first.
Oh, that is a good name.
For a punk rock band, Han shot first.
I hope somebody takes it so that we could take credit for it. Even though you're the one that came up with it, I'm involved with it.
We're in. That's it.
I'm definitely going to get on the credit.
Han shot first. That'd be a good band name. I wonder if there is a band name. Some people Google that. See if there is a band name called Han shot first.
You should make a song just called Han shot first.
And where's Chewie's medal? Just two things we learned. Is Han shot first, and how come Chewie didn't get a medal, the poor Wookiee?
I hope this gets people a little bit more excited. I know a lot of people look at it and they're like, man, nerdy, right? And I know there's other people that are like, this is really cool, man. They can talk about it for a long time. But I hope a couple of those people that just kind of blew it off were just like, you know what, maybe I'll give this thing a little bit of a shot. And I know you have busy lives and whatnot, but it's all entertaining and fun stuff.
I'm with you, and I think next week we're carrying on with the 80s theme.
Well, that's two of the things we wanted to announce.
Yeah, so more 80s next week. Not so much Star Wars, but just everything. So anything from the 80s, music, fashion, movies, television shows you want to talk to us, ask us about, get our opinions on, let Cliff know.
Yeah, we love the general shows, but we love the theme shows. And the reason why we want to have a theme show is because, we're going to be having an 80s party, the following week. So we're going to have an 80s theme show. It's going to be really awesome. It's going to be really nostalgic. Come and join us. If you're not old enough and you don't get a lot of the references, watch anyways. We'll educate you. Bring your older brother or sister, mom, dad, grandparents. I don't care. Just bring everybody and sit around the computer and watch the show.
I'm with you. And one of my favorite characters to end it on this note, Cliff, is one of my favorite creatures from the Star Wars world is the Wampa, the creature, the furry ice creature in Hoth. In Empire Strikes Back, Luke Skywalker actually battles one right in the beginning, and I'm glad that I actually have my own miniature Hoth that I live with. little Spectra. You guys have seen her. She's been hiding, but I'm going to bring her on screen to say goodbye. Cause
is that the creature that Luke climbs inside of to keep warm?
No, that's what Han Solo puts Luke in that creature. What's that one called?
That's one of my
dragon dinosaur-looking creature. Hoth is the big furry white creature. I mean, not Hoth. Hoth is the place where they're at, but the Wampa. So I'm going to bring my Wampa and say goodbye to you guys all. Hey, little buddy.
I can see you in the reflection trying to get her.
She's half Ewok, half Hoth. That's why she's so tiny. So here's my little,
Yes.
I mean, not Hoth.
She's tiny.
Wampa. My little Wampa Ewok. You like Star Wars?
Awesome.
Yeah. Little furry Spectra.
I think everybody loves it when you bring her on. One last thing before we leave the show. We actually saved this for last, but I'm not going to tell you what it is, but we have a big announcement in regards to Misfit Mondays. We're going to be announcing it this week on Facebook, so stay tuned. We're really excited about it. It's just a big change, the evolution of this show, and I think you guys are going to be really excited about it. It's an exciting thing, so stay tuned, man. And that's really it. That's all we got, Yas?
We try to progress with each episode. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and checking us out and being part of the community. And it's really fun. We enjoy being here on Monday. Little Wampa Spectra enjoys being here. Not really. She's just dying to get out. She's like, what the hell is going on here? Look at that little buddy. But join us next week, 80s night. There are going to be some improvements to the show. Little Wampa's ready to run, and she's off.
Yeah.
Bobby, we miss you. I tried to hold it down, tried to get out of the questions until you were here.
Couldn't do it. I was too stubborn. I'm the bad guy, Cliff Skeletor, your host of Misfit Mondays. And that's Yas Talat of Dead Celebrity Status. Double salute. Peace.